Hello, bourbon fans. We're back with another very mainstream offering, Jim Beam Black. This is the 8-year-old Jim Beam. As you can tell from the label, it's double-aged, which means the white label has 4 years of aging, and this has 8 years. This is a bargain whiskey to some extent. Where I'm at, costs $29 for 1.75, and again, if you've got decent whiskey, always buy 1.75 because we're whiskey fans and we'll drink it eventually. And whiskey doesn't spoil, so why not save a little money? So this is a 1.75, and it's not bad. We'll review it here, but my recollection is it's not bad. You can see I've had this for a while. I don't drink this too fast because I don't like it that much. But I think I'll argue it's worth the price. Now, the Jim Beam White Label is $23, and so this is not that much higher. I think it's, for $7.50, I think it's 20 and 15. So mathematically, you can see that the double aged is closer at 1.75 to the 4 year, and hard to describe the smell, although it does have a smell here. Alcohol for sure. Something very dull. Maybe hard to put my nose on it. At the sip, caramel, slight spice. Will add just a dash of water to try to open that up a bit. Caramel and spice still. Very much. I mean, the spice isn't distinct as some whiskeys are. When we review a couple of the ryes, you'll really see that. It's a very it kind of hides there. Maybe it's cinnamon, maybe not, but it kind of hides there behind the caramel, which just dominates here. This is, I mean, 8 years is a good age for bourbon. And I think the wood notes are starting to dominate at this point in the black. The wood. The wood is very distinct here. And I think that's what you mainly catch is it's very much tamed. It has a slight medicinal note to it that I don't really like. But outside of that, it's not an unpleasant drink. I think you'll like the caramel notes. I think you'll like that it's got a complexity here. I think it's a fairly decent sipping whiskey. Again, for the price, not one you're going to feel guilty about putting in something else. Although, again, this is one you can drink. We'll review the 4-year. I don't know if it's going to be next, because I don't make cocktails, so I don't keep the 4-year in stock. I'll confess I've never actually had the 4-year. I'm going to, though. I may even make it the most popular whiskey in America, ironically. I don't think I've ever had. But again, I've had the black, and I've had this has been in my refrigerator for a long time. And I've slowly drank it, and again, my consensus is not a bad whiskey for the money. The Devil's Cut is a couple dollars more. I think it's I personally think it's a couple of dollars better. Although if you go to Whiskey Advocate, you'll see they actually prefer the 8-year. But I personally, my personal opinion with Whiskey Advocate is that they're biased towards more mature bourbons, possibly over mature bourbons. I'm in the school that you don't want to age a bourbon as long as a Scotch. And I think they are not in that school. Now, that doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means they're different than I am. And that they seem very biased towards whiskeys older. And I'm not as biased towards whiskeys that are older. I'm biased towards younger whiskeys that are, I think I bought the Maker's Mark propaganda that, and Four Roses as well, actually. Four Roses also argues that the best age for whiskey is 5 to 8. Maker's argues it's 6 to 8. I think I bought that. And Whiskey Advocate disagrees with me. They like 12 and 18. They like very aged bourbons. And I've typically found that you pay a lot for those very aged bourbons, and they typically are not actually better than the 6 to 8 year bourbons that are a lot cheaper. Typically under $40 for the 6 to 8. And so, speaking on that's not a criticism of this whiskey. It's a statement that they rate the Devil's Cut at 83, I think, and the black at 84. And I don't think they're that separate. I don't mean that there's less than 1 point difference. I mean that I agree with them that they're very close. I just think the Devil's Cut is a slightly more interesting whiskey than the black, and I would probably separate them by a little bit more. I might put the black a few points lower than they do, and I might put the Devil's Point 1 or 2 points higher than they do. I think both are good values, and again, a sign that, again, you shouldn't, and this is the same for beer. Don't ever... Big companies can make good stuff too. Little companies can make great stuff. Big companies can make good stuff too. Don't close your mind because it says, say, Budweiser on the label and beer or Jim Beam on the label, because Beam can use their resources to produce a good whiskey, sometimes for a cheaper price, just like Budweiser can use its resources to produce a good beer, sometimes for cheaper prices than a lot of people. They both have they produce stuff you don't like, they produce stuff you like, and so don't be biased either against small or big. Sample it, try it. Beam makes some good stuff, including some stuff they market not as Beam, that's small batch. Anyway, that's about all the time I've got. I will see you later.